something that I think a lot of us were worried. We were worried that this could be rough for the game, but actually looking quite good. I mean, at least the Night Elves one is looking good, and that is that we now know the chapter titles for the Heritage Armor questlines. Of course, these are the quest lines that they use to tell stories about the actual races themselves. So for the Night Elves, it's a clarion call, ancient curses, a grim portent, countering corruption, mercy or misery, stepping into the shadows, a glimpse of terror, balancing the scales, heart of the issue, warden's wrath, a mark for a protector, and honor of the goddess.
Almost all of those sound horrible, which I'm really happy about.
Seems like there's demon things, there's Alune things.
Yeah, that's what I think
things
is
you would want.
Exactly.
We're feeling quite, Warcraft 3 Night Elves.
That's exactly it. Where I was thinking a lot about like elves and demons, because that's like so much of their heritage in Heritage. Get it? Huh? It's a lot of their heritage is literally, oh yeah, the demons came and fucking ruined our entire society. Most of our land is now underwater. Everyone's dead. Our queen's gone. One of our cities sort of survived. It's not a good time. Like, really very much not a good time for them. But I like that they're going into this instead of just, it's all going to be Elune stuff, or it's all Tyrande and Malfurion. It's the clarion call, and a clarion call is a call for action, right? It is someone going, come and give us a hand here. So, Ancient Curses, that's some demon shit. Or maybe like the Highborn, and the way the whole Highborn ghosts were chilling in vanilla. All the Dire Maul stuff, all the Darkshore stuff. Maybe dealing with a little bit of that. So again, the 10k years to redefine their culture though. But also they're the same people. So 10,000 years might seem like quite a lot. But also we don't know how people in real life can untraumatize and un-PTSD themselves after 10,000 years. Because people don't live 10,000 years. So you kind of have to go, well, for storytelling purposes.
I've heard of Heaven's Ward.
Yeah, so for storytelling purposes, you have to assume that they've held on to some of their trauma at least.
Yes.
Otherwise, everyone goes, whatever. Basically. So there's like curses, grim pretence, and bads happening, corruption, mercy or misery. That's a choice. Cool. Shadows, terror, balance of skills. Now we're getting into like, we're doing shit. Sorting the problems out. Getting this sorted. The wardens. Maya's going to show up. She was spotted in the PTR. A new NPC entry for her. And you're like, yo, Maya's coming back. Is she going to be horny Frilden or what's happening? Who knows? But anyway, Mark Protector and the Honor of the Goddess, which means we're going to have some sort of happy sort of, hey, Elune, yay. Which
there will be Elune stuff. Will Matt explode? Will he not?
Nope. I've read this. I've also countering corruption. Good point. It could be Felwood. It could be cleaning up stuff. Because that's what they did with the, you can tell I'm excited. I'm really gesticulating here. I'm really gesturing. In the Orc Heritage, there's a bit where you plant a seed in a dead like thunder beast, like one of those boys. I can't remember what they're called. Over by the valley where it's all flooded after Cataclysm. You plant a seed there, and it's like, this will revitalize the forests of Durotar. And everyone goes, forests in Durotar? It wasn't always this sandy crack nightmare. Yeah. So
the sandy crack.
The sandy cracked nightmare. So Felwood being like cleaned up a little bit, maybe some of Ashenvale being cleaned up a little bit. Some of that kind of stuff working could be really cool for them. Honestly, that'll be really enjoyable. And then, I think realistically, Honor of the Goddess. I feel like it being Honor of the Goddess at the end makes me go, so you're going to have all this and then a wee ritual to Elune? Because I think that's the thing I loved with the Orc was, like, the Koshard was great, but it was the ancestral worship bit they did at the end.
Yeah.
Where you go make some food and talk to some ghosts. And this gives you the opportunity to talk to dead orcs and slightly retcon the shit out of Shadowlands, which is fun. But you get to talk to ancestors. So this where it's like, hey, you get to talk a little bit about, we don't talk to Elune, I imagine, but you have a little chat about her and her protection and what she's doing and how could she do this? And how could she let us suffer all that stuff, which if you've suffered like the Night Elves do, and this was specifically, they talked about this in the like Darkshore, in the Burning of Teldrassil, with the what were they called? The Dark Ranger Night Elves, the ones that Sarah was one of them.
Yes.
Sarah was one of them. Whatever, Sylvanas raised them up again.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, oh, is she like mind controlling you? It's like, no, we're actually just really disappointed that Loon let us die.
The patch 9.1 lore drama Night Elves.
Exactly.
That was a fun time.
Sure was. But I think that's really
8.1.
I think that's really fascinating. It would have been 8.1.
8.1, yes.
So it wasn't 9.1 because that was different.
Oh no.
That was
also bad.
That was the K word. I'm not going to say it out loud in case I trigger anyone. But yeah, I think like
K-pop.
I really like this because Honor of the Goddess also. I think it's cool that they're actually the demons because that was their whole thing. Always was.
Yeah.
It's only quite recently it hasn't been.
The hope is that your man Helnerath, right? The hope is that like Helnerath is up in Shadowhold. There's some shit going on that ties into why Lord Banehollow appeared in the Warlock quest, and then we're actually getting some demon stuff in with their Night Elf stuff. Would be pretty cool. Also, Felwood, neat place.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. So
I haven't been there in a long time actually.
Oh yeah,
But I
the
think
game's like barely been there.
I just think about Ashenville a lot. Ashenville is like the perfect spot for here's some night elves and here's some corrupted elementals and here's some like demon invasion stuff over the corner and here's some orcs cutting down trees. You can kill the shit out of the orcs for cutting down the trees. Live out the true night elf fantasy, just murdering orcs for daring step on branches. The bastards.
Yeah, perfect. And now for the Forsaken, very excited for chapter number 4, To the Sepulchre.
Yes, not the first ones. I imagine it's the sepulchre
Yes.
of the Maldraxi primary man.
So, there's, let's see. I am forsaken, a living summons our enemies abound. Who may they be? To the Sepulchre, nothing like the classic. Boomweed, acid beats paper, a proper disguise, fears our weapon. The Scarlet Spy, good. The Scarlets are always fun. Amogus, haha!
Hilarious.
Very funny.
2 Amogus jokes in the same game. No.
We have The Flight of the Banshee, Death to the Living, This is the Hour of the Forsaken, and Return to Lordaeron.
Again,
This is the Hour of the Forsaken. That seems like a fairly major moment.
we do get a lot of that, like, how do I describe it? Like, this is our moment, time, planting our flag, we are who we are. And that's what every...
Big moments for the two, the two most screwed over people in the game right now.
Basically, I think there's a case where...
I guess actively screwed over rather than just,
forgotten.
under-contented.
Yeah.
Which I would have said about the Draenei, but we're getting Draenei content.
Draenei content coming up soon, and Tauren content just happened.
They're doing better. I know, right?
It turns out all those complaints during Shadowlands were listened to and addressed. It just took a little while to get there, which is very good. Gnomes, yes.
Yeah, gnomes don't exist.
Yes. Eventually, I'm sure. I think they're not very high on the priority list comparatively. I haven't seen anyone except you complain. But Flight of the Banshee is an interesting one. To me, I just see this being all, hey, we're dealing with our stuff. Got a lot of trauma to work out. We're gonna kill some stuff because acid beats paper, whatever that means. I like that. Also, the Sepulchre is in the Silverpine Forest as well, but I'm fairly sure we're going to Maldraxxus because there's some datamined stuff. Scarlet Spy, Scarlet stuff, cool. But Flight of the Banshee is what I'm mostly interested in because, Flight of the Valkyries weapons, fantastic. No, mostly this proves that they're going to be same way Honor of the Goddess, where they're sitting going, right, so Sylvanas left. She went out for milk. What do we do about that? And it feels good that they might be actually talking about that. They're going, okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
And that's where the datamined cloaks and tabards of there's one version which has the Banshee mask.
How do you think they keep that? How do you keep Sylvanas being good and cool?
You mean...
Well, okay, not good and cool, but like how does that work narratively?
Narratively for the Forsaken, how they...
Yeah, how do they twist their heads around that one? When she overtly said she didn't give a fuck about them.
Because... Actually, it's an interesting question, and this one I'm happy to kind of answer a little bit, because I've been thinking about it, but a decent bit.
It sounds like cope to me.
It's probably a little bit of cope, but mostly, if you think about the Forsaken's history, obviously she did the Mario Kart equivalent of like getting hit by a blue shell and then hitting 8 banana peels and then reversing at the end. Like she really, really fumbled at the end really badly and betrayed them and stuff. But I think without her, the Forsaken probably wouldn't have been a thing at all.
Yes.
They would have all been a loose group of nobodies who never got together and got killed. And God knows how many of them exist now because they were raised by her specifically, and the Valkyr. So you're wondering, well, okay, she did a lot. In the same way that, you know, if someone, like, how do I describe this? It's kind of weird. I'm trying to think of a decent analogy that works, but it's like if you have a pretty bad falling out with a close friend, but they were a close friend for 10 years, you still have to kind of go, well, we did have some sick times for 10 years. Like, it's a shame it went this way. So I assume there'd be a lot of loyalists to the way she used to be, which is this mask doesn't represent her now. Pointing, I'm assuming, tabard here. This mask doesn't represent who she was or who she is now. It represents what she meant to us.
Yeah.
And what she was back then, the ideals she set forth, which was for us to be our
the
own.
fake guy.
No, they weren't.
Moadib.
Were they fake? Were they not fake? But I think it'll largely be that of this is the vision she had for us, and we're going to stick by that. And then there's other people who are going to go, she fucking left and betrayed us and called us all nothing. She could die in a fire. Because I'm assuming this will be about them fighting quite a bit, and then having a kind of coming together at the end and going. And that's why I think like the Scarlet Spy is probably like a part of this, where I imagine it'll be, oh, Scarlet Spy has come in and tried to kill one of the Desolate Council or something.
Yeah.
Or like made its way in, and then everyone goes, it's a living person, fuck them, kill them. Hey, we have something in common. We hit people with flesh and skin. Okay, maybe we're best friends again. That kind of thing. I feel like it'll be some of that, I guess, which is about as much you expect. I mean, the same, like it ends in this is the hour of the Forsaken and Return to Lordaeron. Like that is, we good?
Yeah.
We good. In the same way, I trust the Night Elves will largely be, we kind of good. Because that's where everyone else has ended up after the Heritage Armors. Recently, Blizzard,
Recently.
do you want to delete the Worgen Heritage quest and try again? Cheers.
Do they have? When was that?
That was a long time ago. Was that late BFA or was it early Shadowlands? I think it was early Shadowlands, and it sucked ass.
What happened in it?
I can't remember exactly the details, but they betrayed the entire Worgen ideal and didn't make it genetic, and Tess was not a Worgen.
What?
Yeah, and Tess was like, no, I'm not going to be a Worgen.
What?
And you're like, what do you mean, Blizzard? And then they had a funny joke gold and black suit for an outfit instead of an actual Heritage Armor. And I was like, you're just fucking bastard.
Yeah, so this is firmly in the days of they don't know what they're doing. It was patch 8.3 PTR.
Yep. It was. People are like looking at the recent stuff and looking back and going, what were you smoking back then? That's the complete wrong direction to take the Worgen in any capacity. And obviously say, well, that's just people's opinions. Maybe people like the story of the Gilneans not necessarily being Worgens. But it feels so wrong. It feels like a denial of self-identity. Which is kind of...
Oh, Nathanos appears in it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's, Huh, yeah. Oh dear. Poor Worgens.
Yeah.
Ah, well. Overall, Heritage Armor stuff then, that's probably, what, 2 30-minute quest lines?
These are, like, I don't even... They might be longer. Like, look at this.
I mean, that's at least $15 plus 1,000 Trader's Tender for the Heritage Bundle.
Yeah, so that's 12 chapters, and that's... Nice that. Hang on a second. This is unbalanced.
Oh.
Forsaken getting more again.
Horde favoritism.
I am upside down with rage. I have been flipped. I hate this. I am furious now. This is horrible. Because look at this. 12 chapters versus, I think that was 15 I counted.
Shocking.
Is that 15? That's 15. Disgusting. Awful. Bastards. But no, I think like 3 minutes a quest brings us up to 36 and 45. Sorry, 3 minutes a chapter heading or chapter title.
Yeah. All right, fair.
Could be longer.
For some of the things, there is a version of the Forsaken armor that's got a chest strap. Right, so there's a variation for that. Some other helm and shoulder variations as well. By the way, the stuff doesn't match the Dark Shore stuff. They are different, very different looking shades, which is a little bit unfortunate. Our next thing then is still with the Night Elves, though. People saying that the new tattoos look a bit too clean.
Yes.
Yes. Now the cool thing is they are separately customizable on head and body.
Yeah,
So that's
you can
nice.
you can have different colors from different colors and types. So you could totally have these like green, the moon they're called. You can have the green moon ones with like the red face. But this is a pretty good example from Elves here, which let's not look at the display name at all. But yeah, it's like they're kind of dark and more baked in looking. This is a little bit fluorescent. There's no like edge on it whatsoever.
I'm
It's
glad
just
I
kinda
don't know what that
there.
username means.
Yeah, me neither. I have no idea. But yeah,
Doubt.
you can see the difference in like
Yeah.
it just feels a bit too. Doesn't feel like a tattoo.
No, it doesn't.
It's just
It
there's a
feels
laser text overlay.
it feels like it's been PVA glued on.
Yeah, which is like that looks okay in like you're wearing a hood or you're lighting and you're in
That's
lit, it's
actually
dark and
something.
stuff.
The lighting could be different, and
Yeah.
the setup of the scene lighting in the like in the character creation screen maybe just looks like that. Although maybe it also looks like ass in game. Who knows?
I don't. I'm pretty sure it looks a little better in game, but it also kind of is like. That said, they look cleaner, and I think in a good way, because like you can tell the kind of texture as on this is a wee bit weird with the outline kind of stuff. It's just a little bit better in that way. And also, I just like having more options, to be honest. So I do.